Hi everyone! In this video, I'll show you how to convert 1/12 scale miniatures into 1/6 scale or Playscale. 1/6 is not the scale that I normally work in, but many of you have asked about this, so I thought a tutorial might be helpful. If you work with 11 to 12 inch dolls like Barbie or Blythe, this one is for you. The theory behind the conversion is fairly simple. Since 1/6 scale is twice as big as 1/12, you simply make everything twice as big. So just enlarge the width, height, and depth of all the pieces to double the original size. You do this in your cutting machine's design software. So if you use a Cricut, this would be in Design Space. Another dimension that may need to be doubled is the material thickness. Most of my 1/12 projects call for 1/16 inch basswood. Double of that is 1/8 inch. If you use a laser cutter for your projects, you're probably already using 1/8 inch plywood, so that works out perfectly. If you use a Cricut maker like I do, you're limited to 1/16 inch material. So what you need to do is double the cut list. If the 1/12 scale cut list says to cut one piece of a shape, you cut two of them. If it says to cut two pieces, then you cut four, and so on. Let's use my cube shelves as an example. Here I have the SVG elements in Design Space in the original 1/12 scale measurements. All the pieces are at 1.25 inch width. I can use a 1-inch test square to drag them out together until the square measures 2 inches. It's almost there, but I think I'll stop here and just resize them manually so they're exactly double. Keeping the ratio locked, I simply change the width of the shape to 2.5, which is double the original 1.25. And I'm making sure the height is also double. Now I need to make the duplicates. My 1/12 cut list says to cut two pieces of these three shapes. So for 1/6 scale, I'll need to cut 4. And for this last shape, my cut list says to cut 4 pieces, which means I'll need to cut 8 for 1/6 scale. Here I'll show you how this works. If I don't double the material thickness, my dividers don't fit each other. There's this big gap that you can see here. After I double the material thickness, the gap disappears. They fit as they should. Same with the corners. If I don't double the material thickness, the corners will have these big gaps, which means they don't fit right. And after I double it, they fit as they should. Now, if you noticed, the cube shelves is a miniature that have boxy corners. Similar pieces like kitchen cabinets or cadenza also have boxy corners. This type of miniatures do require doubling the material thickness in order for the pieces to fit. If you are making a two-dimensional flat piece of miniature like a mirror or a picture frame, the material thickness doesn't really matter. You can make them as thick or thin as you wish. An example is my mid-century mirror. This is just a prototype, but I used a single layer of matte board for the base and the mirror, and it totally works as it is. There are no corners that need to be fitted exactly. Another type of miniature is one that's three-dimensional but doesn't have any boxy corners. Usually these are your tables and chairs. I'm using my mid-century chair as an example here. For my 1/12 scale, I use 2 layers of 1/16 inch basswood for each side. For the 1/6 scale, you can double it to 4 layers each if you want to maintain the proportion. But I'm keeping them at 2 layers here as an example. It looks a little bit skinny, but it works just fine as it is. So as a summary, to convert 1/12 scale into 1/6 scale, you will want to double the measurements of the width, height, and depth. For miniatures with boxy corners, you also need to double the material thickness. For flat miniatures or ones without boxy corners, doubling the material thickness may not be necessary. I know 1/6 scale modern miniatures can be hard to find or expensive, so I hope this tutorial will encourage you to make your own. Visit my website at dailydallydollhouse.com for more projects and tutorials. Thanks for watching!